So then afterwards, Tony Schiavone's going to do an interview with Keith Lee. And of course, Keith Lee does not get a chance to say a word before the Acclaimed music interrupts. And the people pop and they cheer. And as soon as Caster comes out, he says, "You ain't going to get a rap tonight." And the crowd starts booing. And the Acclaimed have to tell this story in public. These two kids who have gotten over tremendously with the audience and the whole thing with Billy Gunn and Scissor Me Daddy Ass, the whole 9 yards. Again, they're not the second coming of Steamboat and Youngblood in the ring, but they're green and they'll learn and they're over. So the first thing you need to do is put them in stupid shit that nobody believes and everybody laughs at, and diminish all of their popularity because the fans are going, well, now they're just fucking morons too. They have to tell the story that Billy Gunn is missing and they don't know where he is. And Tony Schiavone says that, well, we heard that Billy had a family emergency. Well, it seems like his adopted sons would know that before Tony Schiavone, who he needs to get a haircut and drop the earring or go ahead and admit that he's a 65-year-old fucking hippie who used to live in a tent in the Haight-Ashbury district. But anyway, as soon as Tony says that, Swerve pops up on the screen. Because we were wondering where old Swerve was. Well, he is in a dark room with Billy Gunn, kidnapped, tied up, taken away, and held for ransom. He's tied to a chair, and now, again, Billy Gunn, more popular than he's been in 20 years, maybe ever. And they're going to do this to him and get people laughing at him instead of with him and getting people rolling their eyes at this whole thing on a show that the only saving grace now is nobody's watching it. Maybe the folks on Wednesday night won't have heard about this. So then Billy and Swerve start talking to each other, even though Billy's tied up with his hands behind him, tied to the chair. He's like, well, you ain't going to get away with this. Oh, yes, I am. And stuff like that. And then finally, Swerve shows Billy a pair of pliers, walks behind him, and reaches down. And at first I thought he was going to go for the nuts, but instead he went for obviously one of the fingers, but you can't see. But Billy starts screaming. So now they're expecting the people to believe that Swerve is cutting off one of Billy Gunn's fingers with a pair of pliers, and Billy's going along with it. And he's being obviously fake and selling for this guy in this bad skit. And this is the way that you kill talent off that the fans have decided they like for themselves, by making them so stupid and nonsensical that you can't like them anymore. And of course, then the Acclaimed jump out of the ring at that point and run to the back. Where are they going?
Where? Yeah.
Apparently they don't know where the fuck Billy is, because that's what they said 5 minutes ago. And then Keith Lee's standing there in the ring, and he makes the conflicted face, like, am I with my partner taking this guy's fingers off with a pair of pliers, or am I not? This was some hot fucking garbage.
I didn't see this, but I'm listening to you, and I've heard some other people talk about it. I didn't realize all the details, to be honest. The Acclaimed are going to have a rare distinction of being an AEW act that AEW perfectly captured the momentum briefly, and AEW, just like everyone else, they're starting to blow the momentum.
Well, and that's what they're not going to be any different than anything else. Wardlow had momentum. FTR had momentum. Hobbs and Starks, one or the other at one time or another, had a little momentum. And there you go. And did the Acclaim say anything good about CM Punk? Because that's what everybody else had in common, was they praised Punk. And they got their nuts cut off. Well, the Acclaim probably weren't praising Punk, or elsewise he would have cut Billy's nuts off instead of his finger.